We'll discuss a little bit this morning about the problem of a stolen sukkah and a stolen daled minim. So the Gemara tells us in Sukkah, Daf Chavtes, Daf Lamed, about lulav hagazel. It says, "V'lakachtam lachem bayom harishon," and you should take it on the first day. What do you mean the first day? I thought it's the 15th day. That's what the Medrash writes. Rishon hu l'cheshbon avonos. It's the first day of the new accounting. We just finished Yom Kippur. That means Yom Rishon. That means the first day of Sukkot, and therefore you should take the daled minim. And the other 6 days are mitzvah midrabanan to take it, but minat Torah the first day is biblical. And then the Gemara later on also learns out from the word lachem that we see that the daled minim, the 4 species, have to belong to you. So therefore, based on lakachtam lachem, the Gemara deduces that a stolen daled minim is not good. You can't use a stolen daled minim or even a borrowed one. So the Gemara asks, what do we need the reason? Why does the Gemara give the reason of Wakaktam Lachem? This day we have a principle of mitzvah haba ba'aveira. We have a principle, a mitzvah done through the means of an aveira is pasul, is no good. So why do we need the reason? Wakaktam Lachem, Bayom Harishon Lachem. It has to be ownership. This is a more general rule. Rabbi Yochanan writes, it's a mitzvah ba'aveira. So they point out, the Shulchan Aruch quotes the opinion of the Orchas Chaim that it's true a mitzvah ba'aveira isn't good, but there's some opinions that say it's only not good for the person who stole it. But for other people, if I perform my mitzvah with a stolen lulav that someone else stole, so then it would be good. So therefore that's what they point out, that applies to everybody. In other words, the halacha of lakachtam lachem bayom harishon, it has to belong to you. Even if someone else stole it, it wouldn't help. It has to be total ownership. But on the rest, based on mitzvah ba'aveira, it's only a problem for you, the one who the thief is, but not for the other people. So that's a discussion regarding the question of mitzvah haba ba'aveira and lachem. However, there's another discussion in the Gemara regarding a sukkah. We know the Gemara as well, chagas sukkahs tasa lacha, that the Gemara learns out as well that the sukkah has to belong to you. It gets into the whole discussion, how could you actually have a sukkah gezula? That's not our issue today. The issue is, you're in a stolen sukkah, it's no good. So the question is, and the Gemara quotes a pasuk on the Haftes. In sukkah, quotes a pasuk that a stolen sukkah isn't good. So Tosfos asks, what do we need a pasuk for? Isn't it a mitzvah haba ba'aveira? It's a mitzvah done through the means of an aveira. So what do I need a pasuk to tell me that it's no good? So Tosfos over there answers in Daf Tes that mitzvah ba'aveira is only a din d'Rabbanan. It's only a rabbinic nullification. But in our Torah, there is no problem, and therefore the pasuk tells me in our Torah it's no good. However, that's not so simple. Tosfos later on, by lulav hagazel, seems to say mitzvah haba ba'aveira is a din d'oraisa, which we assume. We assume Pashat is a din d'oraisa, and therefore it's a din d'oraisa, and therefore we're back to our original question: what do we need a pasuk for? This say a stolen sukkah is no good based on the klal of mitzvah haba ba'aveira. So Minchas Chinuch writes, he wants to discuss the Chiddush, number one, in 2 areas. Number one, he points out the what's pshat when we say that someone's sitting in a stolen sukkah, al mitzvah haba ba'avera. So he says, when a sukkah is no good, let's say whether it's yardu gesham and whether it's raining outside. So what's pshat that everyone agrees you're exempt from the sukkah, but what's the pshat? Is it when it's raining? So the sukkah it's a sukkah psua? No, the sukkah is still good, except I can't eat there. In other words, is it on the gavra or on the chefsa? Is it on the individual that I can't eat in the sukkah right now, but it still has a shame sukkah? No. It's a nothing. It's like eating inside your house. So the Minchas Chinuch going to discuss in a different context the famous shaila of an onein. That halacha is someone who is, during the time period someone lost a loved one and it's been between the death and the burial, so the onein is pater min ha-mitzvahs. Machlokas Rashi and Tosas in the beginning of the third parak in brachas, why not? Either because it's too much for him, he's tirda, and therefore perhaps if he's up to it, maybe he can volunteer. Or according to Tosas, the way we assume, according to Rishalmi, it's not covered on mace. Lo Gerash, you shouldn't do mitzvahs in front of the mason. So either way, onein can't do mitzvahs. So we pass on like Tosas, it's usher for an onein to do mitzvahs. However, we all know it's only usher for an onein to do mitzvahs aseh. However, the negative commandments still apply to an onein. So the question is, so like the Piskei Tshuva points out, what happens if an onein wants to eat bread? So if he wants to eat bread, so we have a problem because you have a mitzvah d'rabbanan to wash your hands before you eat bread, and you also have an issur d'rabbanan to eat bread without washing your hands. So what do? It's a compromise. You wash your hands without a bracha. Why compromise? The answer is not a compromise. Because the only time you make a bracha is when you're doing a mitzvah. To avoid an issur, we don't make a bracha. So therefore they point out, else the mitzvah d'rabbanan of washing your hands you're exempt from, hence no bracha. Why are you washing your hands? So you don't violate the issur d'rabbanan of eating bread without washing your hands. There is no bracha when you're doing something to avoid an issur. So Minchas Chinuch raises this question regarding an onein. An onein's pater min ha-mitzvahs, but he can't violate an issur aseh either. So what should an onein do? Is an onein chol hamoed in before the burial he has to eat? Should he eat inside his house or should he eat inside the sukkah? So the Minchas Chinuch has a chiddush. Most assume that if one doesn't eat in the sukkah, you mevatel mitzvahs aseh. But the Minchas Chinuch writes, he thinks not only you mevatel mitzvahs aseh, but you violate an issur aseh. You also violate an issur of eating chutz l'sukkah. So the Minchas Chinuch only has to eat in the sukkah without a bracha. Out the mitzvah of sukkah he's exempt from. But there's an issur aseh to eat chutz l'sukkah, so that's why he only has to eat inside, but he eats inside, but without a leishe basukah, and for that matter, without any bracha, because he has to make brachas. So they point out, so the Minchas Chinuch raises, he wants to answer up the question of Tosas asks, what do we need the pasuk Chagas Sukkos Taseh to say simply mitzvah ba'avera? So the Minchas Chinuch wants to say no. Perhaps if it's based on the psul of mitzvah haba ba'avera, so that's only a psul gavra. That's only telling me I'm eating in the sukkah, except they're telling me I shouldn't eat there. So mitzvah ba'avera takes away my kiyum ha-mitzvah, but I'm still considered eating in the sukkah. But if it's based on the psul Chagas Sukkos Taseh, so then it's telling me it's a sukkah psula. It doesn't even have achal shem sukkah. In fact, that's what the Vilna Gaon explained the Shitas HaTosfos. Shitas HaTosfos is regarding Laila Rishona, the first night. He says, if you start the meal and it's raining, you eat inside. But if it stops in the middle, you have to go out and eat. So why did you have to go? What's the pshat in Tosfos? the Tosfos clearly says you can't eat in the rain, but you have to eat when it stops. And the Rosh writes you eat in the Sukkah even if it's raining. So the Vilna Gaon explains Tosfos. Tosfos holds that you read this Geshama when it rains. It's not Pshat telling me I can't eat in the Sukkah. It's a Sukkah Psua. It's not. There isn't a Sukkah, so eating in the Sukkah is not going to help you. So therefore, when it starts raining, you have to go back outside. But either way, the way the Gra is explaining Tosfos, that it's not just on the Gavra, like Mitzvah Bavera, but it's a Sukkah Psua. So that's what the Minchas Chinuch answers. That's why we need the pasuk for the first days, or we need the pasuk by Sukkot, Chag Sukkot Taseh to tell me that not only isn't a kiyum in the Gavra, but there is no Sukkah. Based on the pasuk of Chag Sukkot Taseh, it teaches me that it's not even, it's considered eating Chutz Sukkah if it's stolen. So they point out that, in fact, that's the whole discussion they get into. Same thing with whether it's comparable or not to the to the mitzvah of sisters as well. So that's how. So either way, so Tosfos the answer is one answer. It's a mitzvah b'aver is only d'Rabbanan. We assume it's min Torah, so why do we need a pasuk? So Chag HaSukkos teaches me it's a Sukkah Psua, not just that I can't fulfill the mitzvah. The Ritva, quoting from the Bali Tosfos, has a different chiddush. He says that we don't apply the klal of mitzvah b'aver by all. It's not a general rule. There's only certain mitzvahs we apply the klal of mitzvah b'aver. And those are any mitzvahs that involve ritzoy. That the whole purpose of the mitzvah is to get closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Like Karbanos is the classic example. So to take a stolen object like it's a joke, of course, mitzvah ba'avera. So he claims, as we'll see, it's not so simple. The Vilna Gaon seems to be cholek, but the Bali Tosfos is right that so when it comes to the mitzvah of lulav hagazel, not only is there a mitzvah of netzilah, but wakachtel b'yom harishon, it's also an element of ritzah. We do it in the middle of davening, in Hallel, the Nanunim, we do the Hoshanas. So therefore it makes sense that therefore mitzvah ba'aver applies to lulav. But Sukkah, apparently according to the Bali Tosfos, it's just the mitzvah of yeshiva Sukkah, but it's not ritzah, and therefore that's why the Gemara needs the pasuk, because there is the klal of mitzvah ba'aver doesn't apply. So either you have Tosfos saying it's the Rabbanan, or with the Ritva, a mitzvah ba'aver doesn't apply here. It's not a mitzvah of ritzah, and therefore you need the pasuk. Or we say like the Minchas Chinuch, the difference is that it's telling me I need the pasuk to tell me that it's considered a sukkah psua. It's not even a kosher sukkah. But for mitzvah ba'aver, it's just taking away the ki and garo. On this point, on whether that sukkah is not ritzah, that's not, all don't agree to this. There's a famous Vilna Gaon that we say in our davening, and we can connect sukkah and the karban, that they point out that to the Atabacharta Mikol Amim Ahafta Osanu Viratzi Sabanu. So the Gra and Shir Hashirim writes, this is referring to the Gra and Shir Hashirim writes, is referring to the Shalosh Regolim. Hafta Osanu is Pesach, he took us out. Hafta Osanu Asher Bachabar chose us, Hafta Osanu, the Torah. And what's Ratzizabanu, how is that Sukkot? So he points out with the famous kasha of the tour, like why do we celebrate Sukkot now? It should be celebrating in the spring. The Torah answers because it also looks like it wouldn't be nicker at the Shem Mitzvah. So the Gemara says it's difficult. You're going to change the day of the holiday because it doesn't look right. You can't do that. So he says no. He says there's a machokas in the Gemara, Anei HaKavod or Sukkot Mamish, but he says the Anei HaKavod we're talking about isn't the Anei HaKavod that traveled with the Jews in Mitzrayim when they left Mitzrayim. It's the Anei HaKavod, the Jews were just forgiven for the Cheder Egel, and now and then he figures it out, and the day the Hakamas HaMishkan started, which was Tesva of Tishrei. So Ta'anei HaKavod here means that God returned His glory, His divine presence to us, and that's why it shows Ritzoi here. And that's why we find the connection to Karbanos, that it's the Gemara compares it to a Karban, etc., and other things like that, because the purpose of a Sukkah and Sukkahs is Ritzoi, as the different levels of forgiveness. Here we want to renew our relationship like it was in the beginning. And that's the pshat. So therefore, the Vilna Gaon Clear, we now work with the Ritzoi pshat. I'll have to work with the second explanation, Praktik the Minchas Chinuch, that it's only a psul gavra, not a psul on the chefsa. So that's why that was the famous kasha of Tosas. What do we need the pasuk to tell me a sukkah gzu is no good? This says simply mitzvah b'avera. Either it's only a din d'rabbanan, or two, it only applies to mitzvah that's have ritzah, and according to Tosas, apparently sukkah only lulav has ritzah, not sukkah. Or according to the Minchas Chinuch, it's just telling me mitzvah b'avera. Just tells me I can't fulfill the mitzvah, but it's still considered a sukkah. But a sukkah's tasalach is telling me it's no shame sukkah, like the Gemara writes according to Tosas by Yeridas Kashamim, like when it rains, it's not considered a sukkah. And that's the whole the Minchas Chinuch about onain in a different context, that obviously you're assuming sitting in the sukkah, so the onain, that is an isser of eating chutz sukkah, so therefore he should eat in the sukkah without a bracha.